if I was somebody who owned a brand, so I'm the kind of owner of it or the custodian of it, like how would you suggest that I start kind of exploring this world?
In the case of the brand
Mm.
itself and how a brand can be expressed, it gets a little bit more complex. So I would imagine that a startup that's much smaller, much more nimble, let's say maybe it's a creative agency. Maybe that creative agency, has every time you enter the website has a very different logo, a different way the typography is laid out. There are some designers that are already doing things like that, creating their own typographic tools that are generative. But I would hope that we can use these APIs, something like DALI, as it gets better and better with typography, it gets better and better with shapes, that you can use for that as well. So I think maybe it's starting small because it can be quite disruptive, right? As it grows bigger and goes potentially in a direction that's unwanted.
Like for the creative people that are listening, what is the thing that excites you the most about this that they can go and sort of like explore and fiddle around with?
I think just start in the place that interests you. If it's music, if it's sound, um, there are plenty of tools already that can do some really interesting things. Some are not so great, where it emulates the voice of singers, if you've seen some of those things. But some other tools are a bit more, can create some more authentic things. And start there and see how it fits into your own, um, process. Maybe there's a part of your process that maybe you typically get stuck, or you feel like you've been doing the same kind of work, maybe a bit repetitive, and you're getting tired of it, and you want to feel challenged. And so, what if you were to remix these things? I'm starting to do that a little bit myself, and instead of just creating images on their own and posting them as they are, and focusing more on the prompt itself and how can I create really complex things by putting a 100-word prompt, and being very detailed about it. Instead, I'm rendering some things, but then taking them in and collaging them together, and fine tuning them and retexturing them and maybe adding some 3D details and designing some vector details that I add. And so it becomes this layering process. So just start small and pick the thing that inspires you, because it's not just about image making. There's some tools for typography. There's tools for video. There's tools for writing, and I enjoy writing as well. And I feel quite, it's quite curious. How can you maintain with ChatGPT maintain my own tone, my own way of writing and putting my ideas out without sort of making them bland? And so I'm learning how to sort of fine tune that and also be challenged in my own writing. English is not my first language, and so I need some help there. But yeah, it's stay inspired. There's just too much to out there to be excited about. So don't be afraid. I'd say don't be afraid.
Yeah. The traditional tools of colors and fonts and structures aren't as prevalent, or aren't as, we're not creating those. But it's like if we say that we are a serious company, or our tone is friendly and quirky but we don't take ourselves too seriously, these are the kind of design prompts that the kind of the machines would use to sort of craft that experience.